It's Bengals, it's Saints, it is NFL Week 6. Well, Cincinnati improved to 3-3 on the year. Let's get to our keys to victory and official prediction right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Hi again, everyone, and welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talk. I'm James Rapien of allbengals.com here at Paycor Stadium, where it's a little windy. It's plenty of sun as the Bengals, will the sun shine on the Bengals this Sunday in the Superdome in New Orleans, where both teams 2-3 on the year. And let's get to our keys to victory. By the way, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. If you missed my conversation with Elise Jesse or my defense, sort of Zach Taylor, make sure you check that out and so much more right here on CBT, including interviews with Jamar Chase, locker room interviews with Chidobe Awuzie, news conference with Joe Burrow. We're loaded. Anyways, this game is a must-win for the Bengals. I'll say it. I'm not going to run from it. I'm not going to hide from it. And why is it a must-win? Because you can't be the defending AFC champs and have Super Bowl on your brain and have division championships on your brain while you're also starting 2-4. And so this is where the Bengals need to button things up, get things right, and start pushing forward. And if you can get to 3-3, and then you have Atlanta here in this building, and then after that, you have the Browns, and then you have Carolina, and you have the Steelers. You have some winnable games coming up. It's time to start handling business, starting with a beat-up Saints team. Both teams dealing with their fair share of injuries. T. Higgins, Jonah Williams, and we'll see on those guys. But ultimately, this offense just has to play better. And the Saints defense I saw last week, not only are they dinged up, Marshawn Lattimore, if he plays, that's great. If not, we'll see. But they have guys on their defense, and they've underachieved on defense. The Seahawks scored 32 points against the Saints last week. 32 with Geno Smith at quarterback. Okay? And Kenneth Walker at running back. Good player, right? Nice, promising rookie. All right. Well, the Bengals, they have Joe Burrow, and they have Jamar Chase, and they have Tyler Boyd, and they have Joe Mixon. And so it's time for this offense to get in gear. And there's a thought inside the Bengals locker room that if Lattimore plays, that they could go man-to-man with Chase. And I think the Bengals might need some of that. If I'm the Saints, I would go all zone. I'd do the two deep, and I'd say, hey, beat it. We'll see if they do that. Regardless of the defense, the Bengals have to find a way to win and get to 3-3. And, the offense is the part that everyone's focused on, and they should be focused on it because the way the offense is performed is not even close to where they were last year. Last year, they averaged 26.3 points per game. And you could look at the first 5 games here or take a segment here where they struggled. Okay, well, show that all this was some growing pains with the cover 2 and show and prove that you can be this offense that is a well-oiled machine that puts up a ton of points. And it's going to be hard in the Superdome. Communication's going to be tough. You could be down a couple of guys and all of those things. The Bengals have to get it going on offense. Obviously, they have to protect the ball and communicate when you talk about keys. But to me, if they can get off to a hot start and take the crowd out of it a bit and make the LSU fans that are there rooting for Jamar Chase and rooting for Joe Burrow, get them into it, I think that's going to go a long way. So that's key number 1. Get off to that fast start and score points early. Even if the defense gets beat up a little bit and gives up points early, the offense has to get going because what it's going to do is it's going to give them confidence. It's going to get Joe Burrow into a rhythm. It's going to give Joe Mixon confidence. And they haven't been clicking on all cylinders yet this season, and they really need a game like that, and it could be this Sunday against the Saints. And then looking at the defense, that man Alvin Kamara is scary. He can do it all. He had a really good game last week, and Taysom Hill got the touchdowns. But Alvin Kamara, he's going to get a ton of receptions. He's going to get the handoffs. And so tackle him, keep him in front of you, win one-on-one with him in space, which I'm making it sound really easy. Oh, it's a keys to victory. Win one-on-one versus Alvin Kamara in space. It is not easy. It's extremely hard. He's one of the NFL's best running backs. But I think that's the key. Obviously, they have to tackle Taysom Hill, and they can't let him run through him. No doubt about it. And the way they use Hill is unique, and they have to game plan for him. But to me, it starts with Alvin Kamara, regardless if it's Jameis Winston, if it's Andy Dalton at quarterback. Doesn't really matter. Can you stop 41 for the Saints? And then you go from there because they have weapons. If Michael Thomas comes back this week or Chris Olave, clears concussion protocol, Jarvis Landry, they have guys that can make plays. And so this Bengals defense, if they can tackle in space, keep everything in front of them, I think that would go a long way. But naturally, you want to get more pressure. They're not getting enough pressure right now. 8 sacks, it's just not enough. And the Saints are saying the same thing on the other side. They only have 10 sacks on the year. Both teams are going to try to get pressure, and that leads me to my third key. After starting fast, Alvin Kamara, it's pressure, and not just get pressure on the Saints quarterback. It is protect Joe Burrow, because they protected him last week, and they've protected him in recent weeks, and I am not going to bet against the Joe Burrow that's protected, right? I'm not going to do it and is staying upright and has time to scan and read defenses. I'm just not. I think he's going to get into his groove here. I think he's going to start playing at a higher level than he has through 5 weeks. And if the offensive line does their part, and they've been better the past 3 games, if they do their part, I think that the Bengals offense will get going. So if they do what they should do with Alvin Kamara and they get off to a hot start and protect Joe Burrow, well, things could be boding well, and the Bengals could bode well in New Orleans and escape New Orleans with a win. I'm going to get to my prediction in just a second, but I got to tell you right now, if you want to wager on the Bengals, you got to get to mybookie.ag. It's where it's at, because they have a double deposit match. So if you deposit $100, you're going to get $100. If you deposit $500, you're going to get $500. If you deposit $1,000, yes, they will match it $1,000. All you have to do is use promo code BengalsTalk at MyBookie. And you don't have to wager on the Bengals. No. You don't have to wager on the Bengals. You could wager against them. You could wager on any NFL team. You could wager on the Major League Baseball playoffs. The NBA is essentially here. The regular season starting now. College football and so much more. So do us a favor. Support the channel. Go to MyBookie and use promo code BengalsTalk to get that double deposit bonus today. Double deposit match. Again, promo code BengalsTalk. I'm picking the Bengals in this one. And it's hard for me to envision this team dropping to 2-4. They're resilient. They fought back in each of their games. And the ones that they haven't gotten off to a good start, they've still found ways to make it close and make it competitive. And they've lost 3 games by a total of 8 points. And you could say the same thing with the Saints. They fought in a lot of their games, and they've been close games and all of those things. But both teams dealing with some injuries. The Bengals have the better quarterback, regardless of who's under center for the Saints. I'm taking the Bengals in a close one, because I think the Saints are going to score at home. 27-24. Evan McPherson has 2 field goals, including a 50-plus yarder, and the Bengals get it done. Jamar Chase, by the way, catches 2 touchdowns in his return to the Superdome, in his return to Louisiana, his hometown. So he's going to be excited. I know he's got about 50 family and friends that are coming that bought tickets outside of what Jamar got, and he got about a 15-ticket allotment as well. So there's going to be a lot of Chase supporters in the stands on Sunday, and I think he puts on a show for his hometown crowd. So make sure you go to MyBookie and make sure you buckle up, because we're going to have a ton. We're going to New Orleans, and by the time you see this, I might actually be landing in New Orleans and trying a bunch of really good food, hopefully. And we're going to have you covered all Sunday. So buckle up, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, check out all of our content from this past week, whether it's Bengals on the Brain with Joe Goodberry, the OT with Elise Jesse, all of our locker room interviews, my stand-ups, and so much more right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. For Andrew Fox-Miller, I'm James Rapien, signing off for now ahead of the Bengals Week 6 matchup against the New Orleans Saints. Here at Paycor Stadium is where I'm at, but it's at, I think it's the Caesars Superdome. I'm James Rapien, signing off for now on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.